Hey guys, Chris from Pro Obese Audio Installation, and today we're doing an NK5 Volkswagen Jetta. This is the 2005.5 to 2011 model. What we're going to be doing is installing an aftermarket radio in the factory location. This is the Wolfsburg edition, but it doesn't have the factory amplified system. If you do have the factory amplified system, the install harness may differ a little bit, but the technique will be just the same. Provo Beats Audio Installation channel is sponsored by NVX and Sonic Electronics. Get 10% off all speakers, amplifiers, wiring kits, and more with coupon code PBAI at NVX. Also get 5% off all car audio components at Sonic Electronics with coupon code ProvoBeast. Okay, first things first, as we go ahead and get this all pulled apart, we need to make sure we pop out the factory radio, and it's done so by popping out first this top portion here, and then this bottom dash bezel also pops on out. That exposes the 4 screws for the radio itself. Starting here, you can just get a little screwdriver. Now, these dashes become very, very brittle over time, so I suggest you just take your time, be very, very gentle so you don't scratch it. Okay, pop that on out. You may or may not have a harness there. If you don't have a harness, it'll just come out. Now there should be screws down here at the bottom, right here in the back. Now the size we're using is a T20 Torx. Just one here at the very, very top. Like I said, T20 Torx. Now once that's out, next thing we're going to do, pop the center portion out, just like so. Once you do that, it's going to expose some more T20 Torx bed. There's going to be 2 right here at the top. 2. Once you do that, get a panel tool. 1, 2. And what we want to do is separate these seams down below, just like that. Okay, now you will have a harness here. It looks like his airbag light things came undone. I haven't found a need to actually undo that. You can kind of tuck that up there and you're good. Now that'll expose 2 more T20 Torx. Okay, now same thing. You can use a little flathead or a panel tool. And what we want to do is just slowly pop this on out. Just like that. Make sure your cedars are out. Give this a little tug. There we go. Okay, at this point, you want to disconnect your harnesses here. Okay, and this is a little lock. Once you pop that up, it just comes on out. There's your factory radio. We'll set this off to the side. Let's head over to the bench and get our new radio ready. Okay, so we got our parts all put together. We have our wiring harness. Now again, since we don't have the amplified system in this, we actually just have a generic wiring harness here. Now we're going to have to run a line to the fuse box to tap into switch power, and we'll show you how to do that. But we have this harness. We have an amplified antenna adapter, which we'll need for this car. We have our dash kit as well. And again, I can post all the part numbers down in the description in case you want to pick these up for yourself. And that's really it. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our wiring harness, strip all the wires, and start matching up colors. We're going to take our dash kit, assemble it around the actual radio itself, and go from there. Okay, so what we've done at this point is we've taken our wiring harness, we stripped both ends, and use a butt connector. You can use crimp caps, or heck, you can even solder and heat shrink, which is the best scenario here. And what we've done is just matched up colors, color for color. The only ones you need to remember is the red one. Remember, there's no accessory wire or ignition wire behind the radio, because all these Volkswagens run off the CAN bus system. So what we've done is, from the red wire from our Pioneer, we just tied it into this long extra red wire that we had laying around, and this is going to run to the fuse box, which is on the left hand side of the steering column. Also tied into that, as you can see, is our power antenna wire, and we just tied that in as well. Next we have our power wire, that's all hooked up. Other than that, it's just color for color, and get this all wired up in the car. Now at this point, we're going to get our harness adapter and plug this on in. Just like so. Get our antenna adapter. Now with this wire, we're going to fish our remote turn-on wire, which will run to the fuse box area, which is down here below. There may be a panel up underneath the dash here, and you can pop that panel down so you have space to run the cable. We're going to do that. Now there's 3 T20 torch bits up underneath the dash. Hold this undercover on. Alright, so we pop that down. So now we're going to run this. Alright, so with this panel popped down, we got our backup camera wire, we got our ignition wire, and our Bluetooth mic. Since we popped this panel down, because it's just held on 3 screws, that'll allow us to run it. And we pop this panel off, and we're going to tap into a fuse for a 12-volt ignition source. And add a circuit, and we'll show you what that looks like. And then we'll bundle the rest of the wire nice and clean up in here as well. So we'll get that finished, and we'll show you what that looks like. Now here, we got our Bluetooth mic wire, and we just ran that wire all the way down. We've come out here so far, and we'll put the rest of the wire right here as well. Okay, so we've run our ignition wire up here, and then we tapped into this fuse here, and this is called an ADA circuit. And basically what it does, it retains the factory fuse, but at the same time allows us to safely tap into that same circuit, not putting any load on the factory fuse, but allowing us to add our new own fuse. That goes to the radio. But now we've tucked our rest of our Bluetooth mic cable up in there. So at this point, we're good to go with this panel. We can pop this back on. We can pop this lower panel back in, and we can get ready to pop the radio back in the dash. Okay, so we've got everything plugged in. Let's go ahead and get the radio reinstalled in the dash. Alright, we're good to go. The key boots up the radio, and the radio turns off when the key is off, which is exactly what we wanted. That's why we couldn't hook up back behind the radio, because there's no ignition source, and why we ran it to the fuse box instead. So we got our 4 screws in, everything's nice and flush, everything's tight. Let's just reassemble the dash in reverse order. Alright, let's do a final test for our radio here. Everything's all put back together nice. There we go, boots on up. Yep. Everything works great. This did not have the steering wheel control, so we didn't have to worry about retaining those. Other than that, this install is done. Just as a side note, we do have the aux and USB right into the glove box. You saw us run those. At this point, we're done. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe down below, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and throw them down in the comment section below as well. Thanks guys for watching the channel. We appreciate your support, and we will see you in the next video.